And former Lagos State Governor Kinwumi Ambode says reports linking him to a governorship ambition under the African Democratic Congress ADC are false publications intended to cause distractions. Ambode reaffirmed his support and loyalty to the APC and to President Bola Tinubu. The former governor praised Tinubu as a proving achiever and result-oriented leader whose administration has implemented reforms in pensions, student loans, youth empowerment, and economic growth. He also credited the president with eliminating fuel scarcity, enhancing security, and introducing policies to improve the lives of Nigerians. Well, former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, denies any link to the African Democratic Congress or any opposition alliance ahead of the 2027 general elections. He describes the report as fake news. In a statement issued over the weekend, Mustafa firmly denied holding discussions or having any affiliation with opposition elements or political realignments. Mustafa, who served as AGF between 2017 and 2023, emphasized his long-standing ties with the ruling APC, citing his key role in its formation. He recalled his time as Deputy National Chairman of the defunct Action Congress of Nigeria, ACN, one of the major parties that merged to form the APC. Reaffirming his loyalty to the APC, Mustafa urged party members to resolve internal challenges from within rather than defecting to other platforms. Meanwhile, a national leader of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Leke Abejide, says those planning to drag the party into any coalition for the 2027 elections are daydreamers. Abejide, who is ADC's only elected National Assembly member, said those behind the 2027 political coalition are selfish politicians who have no better plans for the country. He accused the same politicians of attempting to hijack the party without following due process. Well, and joining us is the 2023 presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Dumebi Kachikwu, to discuss these issues. Glad to have you join us on News 9.
Thanks for having me here.
Good. Let's just start this. Reports say you were found guilty of the 7 allegations leveled against you and suspended from the party. So as it stands today, you're not even a member of the ADC.
That's absolute bunkum. I am a member of the ADC. Nobody can suspend or expel me from the ADC. And so that the viewers are clear, I want to give a background to the lies they keep on peddling. A few weeks after I emerged as the presidential flag bearer of the ADC, the state chairman of the party informed me that the tenure of Ralph Nwosu had lapsed, and we had a major problem on our hands. Since his tenure had lapsed, he will not be able to do anything legally for the party. So that we then ought to have a convention to bring in a new chairman, since Nwosu, based on the constitution of the party, could no longer run. I had a conversation with Nwosu, who pleaded with me and said, please speak to them so that they can allow me at least carry you all the way to the election. And I said, from what they are saying, it's not possible. The next thing I heard was that Nwosu had formed the kangaroo committee to say that I was no longer the presidential flag bearer of the party. Of course, you know, I still went ahead and ran, but his tenure lapsed. This chairman then went ahead to go to court against Nwosu. Justice Nyako of the Federal High Court in Abuja ruled that indeed his tenure lapsed, and anything he does on behalf of the party is an illegality. They still went to a court, a high court in Port Harcourt, where a judge still ruled in the same vein. He then went on appeal in Abuja here, and the appeal court held that it's a party affair. We then proceeded to the Supreme Court. We were in the Supreme Court when, sometime in November last year, I was approached through my lawyer, Michael Zekome, to say there are some people who are thinking about using the ADC, but he said to them he cannot have any such conversation with me and they should approach me directly. Some other lady approached me and said, senator had told her, please speak to me that you have some cases in court, and they would like, a coalition would like to use the ADC. And I said, whenever they are ready, because of you, I will have a conversation to know what this is about. And then, a very good friend of mine, Mr. Tunde Ayeni, reached me and pleaded with me to have a meeting concerning the ADC that former Vice President Kachikwu and some other people want to work with. It's a coalition that they want to get President Bola Ahmed Tinubu out of office, that they would like to have a meeting with me. He called me several times before I acceded to this. And we then had a meeting. I didn't know where the meeting was going to be or who I was meeting with, just because he's a very good friend of mine. I went for the meeting. I got there and realized it was the residence of the former SGF, Bacha Lawal, with the former minister there of education, Wajuba, and some other people in the meeting. And Bacha Lawal says, mentioned all the sins of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, why he had to go and this and that, and and after he expressed all the sentiments, I had just one question. Will you accept that any coalition will have a Southerner as its flag bearer? And his response was, absolutely not. That's where the conversation of coalition ended with me.
Now, are you a member of the NWC? What's your position if you are still in the ADC, as you said?
I am a member of the ADC. So here is another obtuse argument being peddled by their PRO officer. As a Nigerian, I have a locus to litigate against any issue that affects me as a Nigerian. Same way, as a member of ADC, I don't have to be a NEC member, an NWC member, a party official, local government level or what level, to litigate or to speak against issues that affect me as a member of the party. So when people try to come into my party through the back door or through a window, I have every right to speak up. I have every right to litigate against it. I have every right to say this is not acceptable. And all I have said concerning this so-called coalition is that you want to work with the ADC, you want members of the ADC. I went in through the front door. Come in through the front door and understand that first and foremost, the ADC is a party. Because when I got in there and I saw that the ADC is known for transactional politics, they keep on selling the party. I said, this, with me being there, this will stop. We'll start building a new party. So, as a party in opposition, we believe in one thing and one thing only. We don't only oppose, we propose. We don't speak to problems, we also speak to solutions. That we don't want a bunch of geriatrics who are coming here for grudge matches. What is your solution on all the issues you've tabled or leveled against Asiwaju?
Talking about grudge matches, like you just mentioned, will it be wrong to say that there's probably a grudge between you and and Mosu? Why I asked that, why the sudden? Because it was just sudden sudden campaign against the coalition. Was it because of the grudge, or why did it suddenly, erupt?
You've asked a brilliant question. Let me enlighten Nigerians today. This meeting, I said, happened sometime January, February, right? And they then decided that they were going to walk outside of me to get into the party. And I said, okay, I'll watch you get into the party, but you have a very slippery slope to walk if you choose to get into the party through the back door, especially if you choose to transact with Musu. At that point, I knew that they were aware of the litigations. And so what did they do? They started approaching the different state chairmen. They were in my house and they said, these guys are approaching us to say, come, collect 500,000 naira and sign so you can withdraw the case. I told them, you need the money, go and collect the money. They went, they called me from there, they collected the money and I said, go and collect the money. The mistake they kept on making is this. No state chairman in withdrawing any case does not stop the fact that Mosu's tenure had lapsed and there's a lacuna within the ADC. It's a legal base, a legal foundation that you cannot leapfrog. You cannot do anything about it. His tenure had elapsed 2 or 3 years ago. So before you do anything with the party, there has to be a special way of us dealing with the issue of the lacuna within the party. So you can bribe all the chairmen in the party. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't solve that problem. Mosu does not have any legal right to do anything with the party.
By the way, talking about bribe, I hope I'm right. You're being quoted as saying that some persons forge the signatures of chairmen. That's weighty. And you can't be sued for that. Do you have any evidence? Did you say that?
I said.
And do you have any evidence to support that?
Absolutely. So let me. You know, I mentioned some court cases. There were 2 court cases. One in the Supreme Court, and there was the case in the Court of Appeal in Rivers State. So when they decided to sidestep me, they said we will settle all the court cases so that we'll have a clean platform within which to run. In doing this, there were some state chairmen who had acceded, collected money, and signed their signature to withdraw. But there were some state chairmen who said, no, we will not transact. Our party is not for sale. So they refused to collect the money. So what did they do? They went, forged their signatures, and presented an agreement which the High Court of Appeal in Rivers State accepted as a consent judgment, which they then presented to INEC. The documents are there, the signatures of these people are there, the international passports like they brought that day are there. So this is factual. I knew this as one of the things. Now, we've just presented a few things. In the next few weeks, I will continue to present to the world evidence and reasons showing them why whatever they are doing is you are building something on nothing. They also know this. I heard the gentleman who was here earlier and saying, or talking about ADA. They already know this and they're looking at how they can work with the ADA. But hear this. I keep on saying this to them. The issue is not, I'm not saying we don't want people in the ADC. No. All I'm saying that you want to come into the ADC, understand that we are a party that believes in certain things. Don't come in here and believe that it's a party to use for a grudge match. Don't come in here and believe that you are going to go into the elections and it's going to be about accusing someone of this or doing this without proffering solutions. In the last 16, 18 years, we watched a situation. The election that brought in President Buhari into office, late President Buhari into office. We saw that the debates, there were no debates. We saw what happened. We saw the last elections, the same thing, where they carefully avoided debates because debates give you an opportunity to let Nigerians know what you will do on all the myriad problems we have. They avoid all this. You keep on hearing coalition, Tinubu this, Tinubu that. Okay, in the area of infrastructural deficits, what will you do? In the area of economy, what will you do? In the housing stock, what will you do? They never tell you what they will do. Insecurity, what will you do? They keep on doing this thing, deceiving Nigerians. Tinubu is now the new Shaitan. But you don't tell us, in the areas you say he's failing, what will you do?
Some are accusing you of being an instrument in the hand of the ruling party, Tinubu, to cripple the coalition. Are you rooting for Tinubu? And if you're rooting for him, one wonders, if you're in the ADC, that would mean anti-party activity.
Very good question. I will say this. Hear me loud and clear. I intend to run against President Tinubu in the next elections.
Under
the ADC. Let me say that's number one. Number two, I believe in equity and justice. We watch what happened, how President Jonathan was stampeded out of office. We watch what happened. He was stampeded out of office. He was called a demon. It was said, especially in northern Nigeria, that he was sponsoring Boko Haram to destroy the northern economy, destroy the north. He was stampeded out of office. You hear these coalition members, they tell you that 18 months ago, which means 2 months after President Tinubu was sworn in, they started forming a coalition. Does this make sense? It beggars belief. 2 months after he was sworn into office, you say you are forming a coalition that this man had already failed. 2 months after he was sworn in. I just watched their PRO officer, Bolaji, on channels now, saying that I accused the North of that nobody spoke against
President Buhari, and he was reeling out those who spoke. But it's funny. President Buhari was sworn in, I believe 2015 to 2018. Yep. The first time when he was quoting people who spoke against him was probably 3 years after he had been sworn into office. So for 3 years, you gave him grace. You gave him, he was on honeymoon. But we what the late president destroy the economy of this country. We are in a situation where this president came in and all our crude oil had been sold for 7-8 years. Said to remove subsidy, to say because that's the only way they can survive, increase taxes.
So are you supporting him?
So I tell you this. Let me tell you what I say against this president. I said it on TVC today. This president has been derailed because instead of focusing on governance, he's focusing on reactionary politics to what these people are doing. This president, in response or the attendant policies he put in place to cushion the effects of the tough decisions he took, they are not really implemented assiduously. If I were the president, I will put as much effort into making sure that those policies, the social infrastructure policies you put in place, are being assiduously implemented so that ordinary Nigerians are not suffering. Number 3, this president came in and had the swagger of, I wanted to be president, I am president. Here I am now, Emperor Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I would have pursued social and national cohesion. I will have pursued that. Look at, no matter what you say about Peter B, right? Tell you what, he had a huge following in the last election still today. I will have done everything possible to cut Peter B and say, you know what? Our problems in Nigeria are huge. Let's come together, we're all Nigerians. This is what I have met. How can we work together to solve this problem? Even if Peter B refuses to work with you, it's in the court of public opinion that you've done everything humanly possible to do this. Let's also look at the issue in the Southeast today.
I don't have that time. Under 30 seconds. What do you make of, I mean, you just listened to me read about Mustafa, Kayemi, former Fayemi, and then one more person denying, that they have nothing to do with with ADC. They are still in APC and all that. Just in 30 seconds, what do you make of those denials?
I tell you what, the ADC that you guys speak about is a media concoction. They have carried on this propaganda and banding us of names as being part of the ADC. I had only one job, which is to shed light on their falsehoods. Number 2 is to ensure that if it's the last thing I do, that there's equity for the South and that we have Southerners, competent Southerners, run in the next election. That is happening. I was seeing that happen. I tell you what, if in the next election, like what we're seeing, that you then have them say, oh, you know what, we are supporting President Jonathan to come and run. We are supporting other Southerners to run against this man, just the way we supported an Kachikwu to run against Buhari. My job is done.
We'll leave it there. That's a very good place to stop it. My job is done. 2023 presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC Dumebi Kachikwu. Thank you for being on Newsline.
Thanks for having me.